Yeah, I got I'm doing a lesson tonight, so I'm gonna go ahead and ping everybody so they know we can get to it. Yeah, no, it's all good. I know you're new to the whole premium world, but I think this actually is free. Ecturus, what's up, dude? Um, wow, you're pretty brand new to the chat. January 15th, so you were here yesterday. What's up? What's up? Latvian, what's up, homie? So yeah, Mr. Happy. So in Ectria, since you're new, so typically my Tuesday lessons are just kind of Q&A. I'll go over what I did today and why. Um, Answer whatever questions you guys have. We can go over tickers. Jeremy Dennis on YouTube, what's up? You guys on YouTube, y'all should join the Discord as well. But I can see your comments on there, so say whatever. But what I was saying is on Tuesdays, yeah, it's kind of like a Q&A. I'll go over what I did for the day, why. We'll do some charting, and this is probably the one of the best times for you to ask those specific questions that you have, and I can kind of go in depth with them. I can be here for about 30-45 minutes tonight. And yeah, I mean, we'll just have at it. So get premium. I'm not that new. I've been in this one before. Okay, yeah, I remember. I remember you coming to a couple lessons, Mr. Happy. Just kind of giving a rundown. But yeah. So if you guys got any questions, fire off. You guys on YouTube as well. I can see them and I can answer them. Hello, Miss Nikki. I still can't start my event, and I don't know why, but it looks like you've already started it. So it's weird. Say that one more time. Yeah, it says I'm missing access, and I don't know why. I know. I'll screenshot it next time, and I'll figure it out with Pookie. But perfect. Well, yeah. So Ectrius, you look like you're new, man. What's up? You got any trading experience? You got any questions? My roommate is you're new to trading nice. So my roommate, same deal. I set his brokerage up today with him, and yeah, so I kind of went through all the basics again today. Jeremy Dennis on YouTube. Think BA is going to hit 170 in the next couple weeks. I think 170 is a stretch, to be honest with you. I think 200 is probably a good level for this thing to probably start bouncing. I think 170 is a lot. I don't think that this big deal um, with the door blowing off is that big of a deal. Just because, I mean, yeah, it could have been a lot worse. People could have died. You know, there were I've talked about this a few times, but there were whistleblowers saying that BA, Boeing has disregarded all the FAA safety regulations in the past, really just not keeping things tight knit there when it comes to safety. And then this happened, so it's kind of like a whirlwind of safety problems. So one hell of a short for sure. 260, kind of when that news came out, 250 ish gap down. We're now 60 points down here at 200. I caught a couple trades on that closer to the 225 and 220 levels. Missed this pretty decent move today. But it is what it is. I think 170 is a stretch. So to answer your question, I think 170 is a little much. If I had to be buying anywhere, I'd probably start buying here. It definitely could come lower, especially if more bad news comes out. But I think if you're looking to short this, I would be hesitant. But keep an eye on the news. Be wired into that. Always be looking at BA news. If more bad news does come out, I mean, this could easily get down to 180, 170, depending on the news. If some good news comes out and say, okay, we've checked the all the planes in that batch or whatever that they made, and everything is perfect, then I think you're going to probably start seeing a bounce in this. So that's to me what I'm looking at. This looks very overextended. I mean, just from a charting perspective, look at BA here. Really solid move up and then an extremely aggressive move down, and a quarter of the time it took to get up here. And look at something like Tesla, who kind of had a slow grind all the way up here and a really aggressive move down. You'll get days where all it takes is a little bit of good news and you get a bounce like this. So I'm very, very mad that I missed Tesla today. I even wrote it up in my weekly trade ideas that I send to the analysts, and I was looking for sub 210 to start buying calls. But didn't Tesla fall beforehand because of some choices they made? Yeah, I mean, Tesla's been falling off pretty aggressively for me, not any clear reasons. I mean, there's been a couple negative news, I don't know, scenarios that have come out recently. Let's see, Latvian. Elon Musk said, I'm uncomfortable going Tesla to be a leader in AI and robotics without having 25% voting control. 12.95% stake. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that that's like bad news. I mean, if that was bad, if this would be kind of gapped down right now. But something to keep in mind for sure. But what I was talking about is there's been some negative news, but Tesla's not going anywhere. I mean, they're kind of leading the EV space. I was looking, like I said, to kind of buy calls down here around 205, anywhere under 210. I was really liking some multi-week out expiration calls because you can easily get a 20-30 point bounce on this. And today, I mean, we saw a 12-point bounce ish in about 30 minutes. 212 to almost 224 here in roughly 30 minutes. That would have been really solid. And when if I was already in calls down here on, if I kind of bought in on a dip for a swing, and I actually was lucky enough to catch this, I definitely would have taken some profit, just because the IV would have gone up and these contracts would have inflated pretty nicely. So, anyways, yeah. So that's something else to pay attention to. Yeah, BA is definitely in the news recently, so keep an eye on that. I mean, Coin is as well. I don't think that did a whole lot today, but obviously Bitcoin has been doing pretty decent, but Coin has since fallen off its highs around 187, 188. Is there any other companies like Tesla that are good for swing trading? Swing trading is just a style, right? So, I mean, I don't know that there's any specific names that are good for that. I mean, you can always swing trade SPY, but again, you're also risking broader economic news affecting that. If you want to me, if I was swinging, I mean, trust me, I've swung SPY in the queues in the past, and but you're susceptible to more problems happening, right? Because you could get good news on Tesla, and the stock should be going up, and then overall bad news in the market, and then everything gets pulled down. So there's always, to me, there's just always risk in swinging, right? So I don't swing a whole lot. When I look to swing, I'm looking for pretty big moves, and then I'll look to capture a chunk of it. I understand where these big moves could happen. So, like for Tesla, for example, I mean, I still think there's a lot of opportunity in this. I mean, look at Tesla here in the past. You see really big swings up and down, right? So the last time I swung this was actually down around 200. Once I saw this gap down and this sell-off into this 200 level, this is where I bought calls. And it popped up here, and I caught about a $25 move, and I took profits. It was pretty solid. Then we kind of went flat for about a month or two. And now, again, I'm looking for really aggressive, overextended moves to then kind of scale into slowly for a multi-week out expiration. Meaning I'm buying, I don't know, maybe a month out, call options for a little bit out of the money, looking for a bounce. Tesla's not going to zero. I really don't see this at 170. Trust me, it's very possible for that to happen. Of course, there's a chance for anything. There's a chance that we're at 1,000 tomorrow, right? I mean, there's always a possibility that something's going to happen. I mean, trading is the unknown, right? So I'm just kind of playing my odds there. When I see something very extended, I'm looking to maybe reverse that move. I did a lot of swing trades back in the bear market on SPY whenever a CPI and the inflation news was coming out a lot, and we would see rate hike after hike. So we'd see a rate hike, the market would come down, we'd get a bounce. And then, on these bounces, I was just kind of shorting. And then we'd come up to this trend line again. I'd look to short. And, I'd had some pretty solid swing trades there, but I haven't touched it in a while. The reason for that, and looking at the market, yeah, I mean, you could just kind of try to disregard these blue lines, but looking at the chart, wow, right? I mean, we've gone from basically 350 all the way up to, almost all-time highs here. Why haven't I caught many swing trades here? Us being close to all-time highs doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I think maybe once we start, if we can start cutting rates, interest rates, that's to me when it's a little bit safer to swing. But right now with, the whole Russia-Ukraine thing has kind of died down, but that's still happening, right? We had the Palestine and Israel kind of chaos happening as well. So, I mean, there's just, and, credit card debts to the roof. I think there's just so many unknowns that can happen overnight that I don't want to be exposed to. And Ectrius, I know you're new here, but you'll slowly kind of figure out which analysts do what. I'm a guy who trades extremely fast. My trade this morning was for about 4 minutes, and that's all. That was it. I was done for the day. Kind of 4 minutes into open. It was a decent trade, but I'm a very fast-paced kind of scalper, and I'm looking for very high probable moves that I can leverage on. And I take advantage of them and I leave. The market had some pretty solid moves today. They weren't the easiest to catch. You kind of had to chase. There's been a lot of breakouts happening, so there's been some decent moves recently, but my style is not to leave my money in the market for very long. And it's a lot harder. Let's see. First, try to trade fast. Realize quickly I'm bad at it. Not enough experience. Yeah. So, I mean, look, I've done this for about 5 years. I don't know how old you are, Ectrius. I'm almost 21. I've done this since I was 16. Actually, just almost 16. So kind of like late 15, I guess you could say. But I've done it for a while. And believe me, I started off just doing random stuff. I was scanning for penny stocks. I was trying to watch. Like I would go on Twitter and try to find option flows, meaning, okay, someone bought 10 million in SPY puts, I'm going to copy him or whatever. So I made a lot of mistakes, and to get good at this, you have to figure out what you're good at. I slowly but surely kind of got pushed into this style of very quick option scalping. It's definitely not the easiest thing in the world, but I understand my strategy. I know my criteria to a T. I'm very disciplined when it comes to sitting back and letting the good trades come. And like I know what scalping is. I'm still confused what options is. Okay, so I'll go into what options is for a bit. I do have an options one-on-one class that I did a few times with PBU, Mr. Happy. Those recordings I'm sure are around. But I'll go into that as well. So, and maybe I can go into that on Thursday this week. But let's see, where was I? So yeah, so I mean, I kind of just got pushed down into this strategy of quickly scalping. And again, I did have mentors. I did join all these different Discord rooms and was very underwhelmed with them. I used to run my own chat and stuff, and I would live trade and everything, and it was great. But I'm not even trying to like plug Penny Boys here, but I've been in a lot of chat rooms. I've paid for a lot of chat rooms, especially in the early days. And a lot of them show different things. Penny Boys, you kind of have it all. You have an unbelievable amount of education that I have never seen. And you have multiple analysts. So they all have different trading styles. So you can then learn from multiple different people and figure out what style works for you. And we do live trading. I live trade 3 times a week, and I do 2 lessons a week. So again, feel free to reach out and stuff. Unfortunately, you aren't premium, so you don't have access to a lot of the other options in the chat, but I know you're only about a day old in this chat room, so take your time. Let's see, what else was I talking about? Just kind of the quick scalping. So yeah, I mean, I'm usually my trades, 90% of my trades are under 10 minutes. I look for quick moves, take advantage of them, and I move on. I don't care if the market goes in circles. I don't care if it goes, berserk. My criteria is very strict, and I only stick to what I know. There's penny stocks that run 1,000% every day. Just kind of an example there. I mean, I don't know if that actually happens, but you know what I mean, right? There's always going to be these crazy, squeezes, crypto coins that go 100x, whatever. I don't care. Once you can kind of step away from that and understand what you're really good at, trading becomes very easy. Good trading is boring. And once you find your edge, you need to stick to it, because to be successful in the markets, it's very simple. And it's honestly boring. You don't do anything that you don't understand. You have a very strict style. You have a very strict criteria and strategy, and you stick to it. And to be successful in this, you need to be very, very good at one very, very small and simple strategy. If you can do that, you're going to be successful. If you think that you're going to try to trade 10 different ways and make money, it's not going to happen. If you think that you're going to show up and take 10, 15, 20 trades a day and be successful, it's not going to happen. I know you don't really know, you don't know who I am, Ectrius, but I've worked on trading floors a couple times for a few months. I kind of do that over the summers, so I'll probably be back there this summer, depending on a couple things. But yeah, so I've seen a lot. I've talked to guys, I've traded with guys that have done this for 40 plus years. They've done it before computers were even involved in this stuff, right? So I have a decent amount of experience, so feel free to ask whatever you want. So it's better to specialize. Yes, definitely. You don't want to go on YouTube and look up 5 different traders and try to trade 10 different ways. You want to, early on, maybe look around, see, okay, am I a trader that wants to be in and out in a few minutes? Am I a trader that wants to hold for a day? Am I a trader that wants to hold for a week? That's kind of where you can, and also risk tolerance. Am I okay with risking a little bit more than usual? Do I want to be very low risk? These are all things that you need to ask yourself to figure out what kind of style of trading that you want to really pursue and try to master. A lot of people are drawn to the very quick style of trading that I do, whether it's options or equities or whatever. And typically new guys get hurt doing that. So don't throw your life savings at this. Paper trade in the beginning, understand the basics, and slowly progress. This, I tell people, if you want to be, you understand that this is a profession. This isn't a hobby. This can be a real job, but you need to understand that you can't just pick this up in a few months and then leave. I read that 97% of traders fail, or 90% of that do that day trading that are new fail. Yeah. So I mean, to me that is somewhat true and somewhat not true. And let me explain. How many people can walk into a casino and gamble? Well, everyone can, obviously, if you're of age, right? But anyone can go in there and put money down. And the house has the edge, right? So if anyone can open a trading brokerage and put money in and trade, well, everyone has the chance to fail, right? So yes, a lot of people fail at this because anyone can open an account and lose money. I don't know what YouTube link that is, but Snowflake is an OG. He's great, so I'm sure that's good. Yeah, Mr. Happy, I'll get to that one second. Let me finish this point. So options. No, that's what it is. Oh, okay, cool. Nice. Is that mine? Is that my options video? Oh, ducks. Cool. Yeah. Okay. I bet that's a really good video. So if you need some insight on what options are, cool. Let's see. Where was I? So yeah, I mean, anyone can open a brokerage and trade, right? That's why you hear 99% of people fail, but a lot of people quit very early. If you want to be a doctor, you got to go to school for 8 years, right? If you want to be a professional trader, it's going to take years. I'm not going to say 10 or 20 years, but maybe 2, 3, or 4 years to actually start hitting that profitability to actually make this a real job, right? Back to me working on a trading floor. It's simply an office with people at a really long desk, and everyone kind of has a computer, and everyone's trading together, right? So to get hired there, they don't care if you're a really good trader or, well, I mean, obviously, if you've proven that you are, very successful at this, they're not going to make you do this, but anyone could get hired there, right? And they're going to say, okay, even if you have no knowledge of the markets, we're going to give you 4 years. So you need to show up here for 4 years. We're going to give you a very base salary and probably a bonus if the firm does good. And if you can prove to us over 4 years, then we'll actually give you the chance to go on commission. So, I mean, understand that, right? 4 years of time to prove yourself, because that's going to let anyone could show up in a bull market, buy something, and make money. But markets have cycles, right? There's bear markets, there's bull markets, there's sideways markets, there's whatever. So it really does take some time. So don't think that you're going to pick this up in a few months. That kind of wraps up that point. I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling here. Saw some other things in the chat. One second, we read YouTube. Do you always buy weeks out expiration, or do you buy 0 DTE contracts if you're just holding for 10 minutes or so? So Jeremy Dennis, it depends. If I'm swing trading, when I'm holding for multiple days or a week or two, which is very rare for me, I'll buy a couple weeks out. But typically when I'm trading every day, I'm buying that same week's expiration. I don't really trade SPY or the Qs or futures ever. I use those as an indicator of what the stocks that are going to be doing in that basket. So like I watch the Qs or NQ very closely, and then I have SPY and ES up. And then I watch, Tesla, Nvidia, Meta, Apple, all those guys, because those are in the basket of the NASDAQ and the S&P. But to answer your question, yeah, so I trade the same week. So on Monday, it's obviously 5 days to expiration, then Tuesday 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, right? And on Fridays, typically I'm trading 0 DTE, but I'm also much more careful when it comes to 0 DTE. And honestly, if they're too cheap or this trade is too risky, I will then just buy next week's. If it's a Friday, I will buy the next week contracts expiration. So typically just same weeks. I just stick to that. And yeah, Mr. Happy, you said something up here. In order to actually make profit, you have to have a lot of money you're putting into it. Like if you put $1 in something and it goes up and you gain $1, it might show so much perfect, but it's such a small amount. I'm kind of wondering what is the amount of money you usually would use in a scalp trade. So it all depends, right? Percent, yeah. So obviously, if you put $1 in and you make $1, it's 100% gain. That's pretty big. I mean, Mr. Happy, I can't give you a specific number, right? It's all percentage. I am very happy with 15, 20, 30, 40% gains on options, but you can't risk 20, 30, 40% per trade because, if you have $100 and you lose 50, that's a 50% loss. Then you have to make 100% gain on that $50 to get back to break even. So you can't have massive losses and expect to be good at this. So, I mean, if you want to scalp, you want to scalp 2 to 4 contracts minimum. I mean, Gio, I mean, you could scalp one contract if you want. I mean, it all depends on how much money you're wanting to put into the trade. I'm not going to give you a dollar amount because it varies with everyone. You could have a 100K account, or you can have a 10K account, or you can have a 1K account. It all depends. I mean, I don't go in extremely heavy. I'm more than happy with making a couple $100 a day on average. And then on the good days, maybe make 1,000 or 2. I mean, that's very, very good. I mean, if you think about it in a long-term perspective, if you can make $400 a day, that's $100,000 a year. If you can make $200 a day, that's $50,000 a year, right? There's 250 trading days, give or take, in a year. So just kind of do the math with that. I mean, make 50 bucks a day, right? I mean, yeah, $100 a day. I mean, obviously there's going to be green and red days, right? There's going to be really good days, and your job is to mitigate the very bad days. If you don't have any, that isn't mathing. How is that not mathing? Do 400 times 250. So, you know, it all depends. I mean, obviously, if you have $1,000 account, you can't really expect to make $100 a day very easily, right? I mean, look for the 20, 30, $40, right? Kind of grow that account a little bit, and then you'll slowly start getting a little bit better. A little bit bigger account, you could slowly start making more and more and more. And yeah, 100K. 400 bucks a day to make 100K. Yeah, a year. But obviously that's in hindsight. So, um, just don't go for home runs. This game is all about base hits and consistency. If you can do that, then you're going to be successful. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's definitely easier to make a lot more money if you have a lot of money, right? If you have $100,000 account, you may feel pretty comfortable going in with 3, 4, 5K, not really care. Um, I mean, yeah, on a 1K account, $50 a day is great. I mean, seriously, just you don't need to go for these massive runs. But, my argument is that if you can't be profitable on a small account, you cannot be profitable on a big account, right? If you have $1,000 account and you're losing 20% of your account on a bad day, and then you're only making 1 or 2% on your account on regular days, then I mean, what's a 20% loss on 100 grand, right? I mean, it's a $20,000 L. You can't do that. So, and also this is something you guys need to understand. If you can put 2, 3, 4 years under your belt and have a very solid track record, no massive losses, you don't have to fund your account over and over again. And you can make, I mean, guys, with scalping options, you can, if you're very consistent, I mean, you can make 10% on your account a month decently easy if you're very, very consistent and you have good risk management. Um, so understand that if you can do it, if you can make a track record, and understand the S&P usually does about 10%, right? Give or take. This year, I think it did, for 2023, I think it did like 25%, but that's because we had a pretty big pullback. If you can average even freaking 40% a year on average, you can go and get money. You can go and get investors. Obviously, that's going to come with more pressure and more liability and stuff. But I mean, that's kind of what hedge funds are, right? You gather money and you invest it for people and you trade it and you create a return and then you take your share. So, you know, in 10 years, if you can on average make 30 to 40 to 50% a year slowly, even on a $10,000 account, whatever, and some people with money, or whatever it is, you find a way to get some people to invest in you. Well, there you go. There's your 100 grand account. And trust me, it's going to be a lot harder. Um, yeah, Snowflake's 100% right. I missed that. I was looking at the dollars, and I think that's what's been contributing to my anxiety. Yeah, if you're freaking out, then you're in with too much. If you're very new to this, I mean, I'm telling you, go in with like $100 a trade. So let's just say that you freak out and break every rule in the book, and you lose 100% on that trade. You're only losing $100. It's not, you know, life changing. I have traded and taught people. I taught a guy who was 65 years old. He got into trading when he was about 63-ish. And understand that someone of that age has lived a life, and he's worked and he's saved money and he has a family and stuff, and he put like 50 or to $60,000 into an account, didn't know what he was doing, and blew it, and found me. And I had to teach him for a while, and he put another like 30 into an account, and then he ended up making like 15 or 20 in like, I don't know, 6-7 months, and he was really happy. So I mean, understand that you need to slow down in the beginning. Just please, please, please take that to heart. Let's see, I'm missing a lot here. Yeah, build the knowledge. Definitely, you need to have the fundamental understanding of this stuff before you really deep dive in it. But I mean, it's all going to come in time. I freak out over my Tesla stock because it's the outlier in price. Yeah, Tesla's a volatile name for sure. But for day traders, when you can, I mean, over time, you're going to get to the point where it's not so emotional for you. Trading is very, very boring for me right now. I mean, and I'm sure it will be forever. I remember the days where I had butterflies in my stomach before the market opened. I was nervous. I was, if I didn't find a trade in the first 20 minutes, I would just kind of go force a trade because I just felt like I really needed to make the money because I wanted to be rich tomorrow. And that's just not going to happen. And you're going to realize that either the hard way or you're going to understand what I'm saying and really put it to work. This isn't a get rich quick scheme. It's an unbelievable way to make money. I mean, you guys you OGs here that I see in the chat, you guys have heard this, but I mean, for you new guys, I mean, I've traded in different countries. I've traded in the middle of the ocean on a boat. I mean, it offers so much freedom in life if you can really make it work. But if you think that you're going to show up and be a professional trader in a couple months, it's not going to happen. Believe me, it's not going to happen. This will take a couple years to master. And that I don't want to like push you away, but understand that if you want this unbelievable career and job, it's going to take unbelievable hard work. But once you can kind of break over that kind of that tipping point, then it could be one hell of a life. Yeah, the Chag's right here. Paper trading is good for me to understand what strategy you want, how your brokerage works, kind of how to enter and exit and stuff like that. But you need to understand that once you go into that live trading with that real money, that's when emotionally and mentally it's going to be a lot harder because you're dealing with real money. If you go red on a trade on paper, you're really not going to feel anything. When you go red for your first time on a real account, or your first 100 red trades, you're going to be kind of freaking out. You're going to want to like hold it or add to the position or whatever. Jeremy Dennis, when you set resistance levels on your chart, how far do you go back or reset them for the new day? So good question. Typically when I'm charting, obviously the major resistance points are going to be on bigger time frames. So 4 hour or the 1 year chart. So every candle is either 4 hour or 1 day. And those are going to be the bigger levels for the stocks that I trade, whether it's, Meta, Tesla, and, Amazon, Apple, whatever, right? Usually every $5 to $10 level is going to mean something regardless. So you can kind of tell, excuse me, you can kind of tell here that like 420, 425, 30, 35, 40, 50, 60, 75, I kind of have those already marked out. And then obviously like the bigger whole numbers like 500 here or 450 or 400 are going to mean more than like a $5 level. But I mean, I would start on the 1 year, 1 day chart, and then, kind of look at the 180 4-hour chart, and then 1 hour. And then, when I'm intraday, so like, let's see, what did I do today? I mean, like AMD. So AMD, I kind of looked on the 1 hour chart, and this 151 level that you see here was the specific level that I was kind of looking at. 150 is obviously more of a whole number, right? But 151 was actually the resistance. So I kind of went down on a smaller time frame. This is what I traded today. So, I had this marked out here in this white line that you see, and I traded it right here. Made my 35%, and then this thing freaking ran on me. I can't even look at that because it makes me so mad. How much time do you spend trading total per day on average? Usually about 1 hour, Ectrius. Trading, I'm usually done the first hour to hour and a half after market open, and then I'm usually at my desk anywhere from 1 hour to 30 minutes before the open. Just kind of going over news, looking at charts, just kind of hanging out. Something that you're either going to learn from me or you're going to learn the hard way is you cannot. And I used to do this, so believe me, I used to do this when I was young. I would get up 10 or 15 minutes before the market opened. I was in my Discord groups and I thought, oh, great, I can just follow these people and I can make money. I don't need to like really take this seriously. I promise you that that's not what you want when you were young. That's funny. Let's see where was I? So something very important is oh, that's so funny. Oh, it's so funny. Guys, I until I was here, I was teaching people my age forever. So this is funny. Oh my goodness, y'all are cracking me up. Yeah, Ekfits, I mean, it all depends on your schedule, right? But I would at least get out of your bed an hour before open. So understand that. It's older than you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know. Porterhouse says I sound like I'm 60. That's pretty funny. That's hilarious. You're in school and market opens. Are you in high school? I remember those days. At least 40. Is it because of the way I talk or just the sound of my voice? Am I well spoken? Deeper voice. Old soul. Good. Yeah, I've heard that. I don't know. I don't know why that's the case, but I'll take it. It's better than sounding stupid. Um, let's see what else. YouTube, you guys can keep commenting if you'd like. Don't get the thing. My age does show at times. Oh no. Well, tell me when it does. How many contracts did you buy this morning? So I bought about 10 contracts this morning. They're about $100 a piece. Typically, a lighter position for me would be like 1 or 2,000. I wanted to get in more, but it was those first minute trades. I'm not going to go in nearly full size ever. So yeah. So Jeremy Dennis, I bought about 10 contracts, 5 on kind of the opening dip, and then 5 more once it kind of started popping. So yeah, nothing too crazy. They're about $100 a piece. But I think they hit probably like 500. Let's see. I traded the 155s. So yeah, they're at 5 here at close. So they probably got closer to 6. And I have a feeling this is probably going to keep going here. This looks like a pretty solid breakout. I mean, it's kind of copying the video here. We have all-time highs here at 164.46. So I'm going to be ready for that. What are we watching tomorrow? I'll get into that. Chaggy's 13. Nice, yeah. Jeremy, you watched me today. Nice, cool, man. Did you take any trades? Jag, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So I mean, if there's any other questions, fire them off of me. But I'm gonna keep charting here. I mean, to me, today was probably the cleanest day on AMD. I'm pretty bummed that I missed out on a big move. I mean, I still caught like 30 something percent, so I was happy with that. But I think there was obviously a lot more on the table, and mentally kind of knowing that 155 is a pretty decent spot to that we could target, right? I especially with a breakout that looked this solid, I thought 155 was very doable, but I sold very quickly. So it is what it is. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep watching that tomorrow. I mean, we're basically a couple dollars away from all time highs, so it's good to keep that on watch. Tesla, pretty solid bounce today. I don't know that I'm that interested in trading it back up here. To me, it's going to be more of a momentum based if I do, but basically, we're just going to be coming up into all of this kind of yuck here, right? We're just kind of dead cat bouncing. So to me, if I'm going to trade this, it's kind of more of a swing scenario. I'm not really going to look to day trade any quick bounces here unless there's just some crazy momentum that we saw today. So, I mean, this was solid, but it really never gave me a chance to get in this. I saw this pullback and thought I needed to see a little bit more. Like, in this area, we got 2 minutes of pullback and then another like $3 worth of movement. So, it was interest investments 14, and he didn't help me set it up at all. For me, I set up my stuff under my dad's name and then told him I'm a psycho. Spy 477 calls, thinking puts tomorrow. Yeah, so yeah, he's happy I did it now. Let's see, what was I saying? Yeah, so Jeremy, honestly, I think that obviously the chart is strong, right? I mean, SPY is still continuing to move higher. It's hard to fight that. It's very hard to fight the fact that we're continuing to push. We kind of had an indecision day, but like I said earlier in the stream, I don't know why we're all the way up here. I would like to see all-time highs get tested, right? I mean, we're almost there. We're within about $5. So I would like to see that happen first. And then to me, that's when I'm going to get pretty skeptical on things. Yeah, we could blast through it and get to 490 on SPY, but to me, I think that there's going to be some sort of very quick rollover one of these days. And don't get caught sleeping, because we have gone on a pretty massive run. I mean, this is a weekly chart, so every candle here is a week, right? We haven't, this algo really hasn't switched to red in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 weeks, so 3 months. At one point this is going to topple over. So I don't, Jeremy, I don't know that tomorrow's the day. I don't know if the next day is the day. I don't know if next week is the day, but one of these days, obviously markets go up and down, right? So there's going to be a down move, but with where we are right now, I think it's probably going to be pretty violent. We do have Beige Book tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, I think. So that'll move the market a bit. When the next FOMC meeting comes out. So I think what's going to happen, and in our analyst meeting today, we talked about this. If they cut rates, I think we see a pretty solid move up in the market. If they keep them flat or raise, which I highly doubt they raise, but if they raise, it's going to be a freaking bloodbath. If they keep them flat, I would think that we're probably going to see a pullback in the market, because I think that they're probably starting to expect that we're going to start cutting rates. So cutting would be expected and probably good. But if they keep them flat or, God forbid, raise even higher, I think the market has a pullback. Obviously, if they raise, it's going to be a way more aggressive sell-off than if they keep them neutral. But we're kind of in a euphoric stage right now. So, I mean, think about Mr. Warren Buffett: be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. So, I mean, that applies here. It seems like people are getting pretty greedy. I think if you look up like the greed meter or whatever it's called, we're in like extreme greed right now. So to me, if I had, a freaking ton of money, I would probably be buying 6 month out SPY puts for like, I don't know, 420, or even 400. I don't know that we're going to come down that far, but even do like 430, 420 in that area. Um, and I think that the chances of that happening are pretty solid. You may have to deal with some pain there. This may go higher, but um, I don't know. Just keep that in mind. And so be fearful when others are greedy here, and then looking at Tesla, be greedy when others are fearful. And today was kind of that chance that happened kind of one day before I wanted it to. I wanted to see one more sell-off day, and that's kind of where I'm going to be greedy when others are fearful, right? So we're going to be down a lot, and you get lucky and you catch a move like this. So it's all psychology. Do you have any tips for a new 14-year-old day trader? Take it slow. Understand the what's going on with my screen there. There we go. That's funny. Yeah. Do your homework. Do your homework. Understand that this is a very slow game. And join the premium club. I don't want to sell you on anything, but there's going to be a lot that you can learn here. And yeah, you can be way ahead. I started when I was 16, about 15, 16 years old. So very young. You're going to deal with some struggle for sure. And don't go too quick. He's a great salesman. I'm really not even trying to plug the chat. Believe me, I've been in countless other Discord rooms. So just take it slow. Watch YouTube. Really try to get the education down before you do anything. And, go from there. But, keep asking, 70. I don't know how to say your whole name, but yeah, and don't worry about the money. That's a great point Snowflake made. Definitely focus on learning. That's gonna be the biggest thing. And I'm assuming that you don't have a ton of money to hop in here and trade, but just take it slow. Education is going to be your biggest thing, and keep working, because by the time you're 20, you got 6 years under your belt. You're going to be way, way, way ahead of people who are even 25, 30 years old, just getting into the trading world. You know what I mean? So by the time you're 30, when you actually really need to have a career, right? This may be your thing. But understand that it's going to take years, and you're young, so you have the time. Ectrius, no. I don't think that's oh, don't look, guys. No, I don't think that that's late at all. All it is, all it is just understanding that you got to put about 5 years down the line, to be very, get successful at this. But yeah, I like I said, I've worked on trading floors, so I know. Jeremy, take care, man. Um, I've seen people get hired that are 25. You can't get hired there until you're a college graduate. So they told me they would hire me when I was 19, or actually I was 18 when I went there, and I wasn't even supposed to, but I kind of lied my way into it because I wanted to be there as a college freshman, and you had to be a sophomore to even get an internship. So I kind of worked my way into the trading floor, and I knew more than people that were getting hired there. I already had 3 years down, and I knew what candlesticks were. I knew how to trade. I had already been making a little bit of money, and I was actually doing better than people who had just been hired there, who didn't even understand what a chart looked like or knew what they were doing. So, and from what these guys say in here, without talking to me in person. They think I'm a bit older than I am. So they thought I was 20 something, and they asked where I went to college, and I said I just got there. So that's kind of a funny story, but no, it's 25, 30 is not too late. Treat the paper account like real money. Don't gamble. Yeah, 100%. You need, if you're gonna paper trade, treat it like real money for sure. Treat it like real money, because if you treat it like fake money, then you're gonna get on real money, and you're gonna pay the price for that once you flip over to real money. Yeah, I know. Let's hop into the 18 plus lounge. That's so funny. Oh my goodness. Oh, hang on. I gotta show it. I gotta show the guys. 1 second. That is hilarious. Hang on. Let me show this. Um, anyways. Yeah. So I mean, this is a never ending game for sure. And I've said this before, but for you guys that have heard it, kind of disregard it. But LeBron James doesn't have the exact same game every game, right? There's playing a new team, new players. It's a new day. Every game is different. Every day in the trading world is different. So besides being a professional athlete, you're, considered a professional mental athlete, right? Your job is to react. Your job is to take every day very serious. And back to waking up, an hour before the open. When I worked at the firm, you had to be there 2 hours before open. So for me, market opens at 8:30 in the morning. I would have to be in the office at my computer by 6:30, or I was not allowed to trade that day. And that goes for an intern, and that goes for people that have been there for 20 years. My boss worked at SAC Capital. Um, and I don't know if you guys, some of you guys know what that is, but for you guys that are OGs here, you've heard the story. But SAC was owned by Steve Cohen, who now owns the New York Mets. And his right-hand man is named Kenny Lysick, and that is my boss. So that's who I see. That's who I talk to. I call him every now and then. That's his rule. He's been on those multi-billion-dollar trading floors with in hedge funds and stuff. And if you're not there if you're 1 minute late, you have to go home. It's very, very strict. More time to research. Yeah. And not even so much research, but it's getting there on time and early. It gets your brain awake. It gets you kind of emotionally sound. You have your plan set in stone. It's very systematic. And another thing that I preach is being very disciplined outside of trading, whether that's going to the gym every day, eating healthy, doing stuff like that outside of trading. Very disciplined in your life will make you disciplined in the trading world. If you want to trade and you want to party every day, and believe me, I'm in college, I love to party. Good night, Mr. Happy. Yeah, I mean, I love the party, but I leave that to the weekends, and I work very hard during the weeks. So be very strict in what you do. You mean a dirty newspaper? Oh my goodness. Do you have any tips for people trying to control your emotions? Yeah, I mean, there's again, you need to Google this stuff, but off the top of my head, I mean, it's going in with a small enough position where you're not emotionally connected to the stock, and battling your emotions and battling your mental is something that traders battle every single day, right? But over time, over a couple of years, you're going to realize there's always another day in the market. There's always another crazy breakout trade that you miss. There's always another trade that you catch. There's always a home run that you miss. There's always a home run that you catch. There's just always another trade, right? So you can't let your last trade affect your next one. You can't let um, outside forces, change how you're going to trade things. I got surgery. I'm in Cali at a gym, 5 a.m. Then I trade market open for 1 or 2 hours. See, and Mr. Geo over here, he's on the West Coast, so market opens at 6:30 in the morning. So if you think, if you guys on the East Coast, you have it good. I may move, when I'm older, because you guys think I'm such a kid. I may move to. I would like to move to the East Coast to get that extra hour, so I would still keep my hours the same, but I would actually just kind of have what feels like an extra hour in the mornings to get ready. But it is nice to be done by 9:30, 10 in the morning, and then I'm done for the day. You got a spare room in Charlotte? All right, I may take you up on that, Latvian. Yeah, what time do you go to bed, Gio? Yeah, Ectrius. I mean, I'm in college now. I'm almost graduated. I would like to be dropped out of college, but unfortunately, I have to be here. Um, and I schedule my classes around trading. Always have, and I always will. You're at work 5 a.m. charting. Nice. I tried to research how to fix this, but I have a problem holding my wins. So I mean, it's not to me. It's not so much holding my wins because I could have held a huge winner today. It's about making sure that your wins are bigger than what you're willing to risk. If I'm willing to risk $100 per trade, but I only make $20 a trade on a win, well, then my risk to reward is terrible. If I typically make $50 or $100 a trade, well, I need to be risking $20 or even $50. So it's a kind of a 1-to-1. So if you lose one trade, you can comfortably win and break even. So it all comes down to risk to reward. It's not, to me, it's not so much holding winners, because holding winners is hard, but holding losers is easy. So to me, I would focus more on cutting losers quicker and being consistent on the win side and making sure that your losses don't double or triple your wins. Yeah. No, I mean, I remember I would drive an hour to the trading floor over the summers, which really sucked. So I'd get up at 5 and get in the car and drive an hour just to go sit at a desk and read 100 emails and then go into a pre-market meeting and pitch ideas and then trade for a few hours. Then you go to lunch and then you have a lunchtime meeting after, and then you trade until close and then you're done. Um, and that, to me, that sucks because I love trading on my own and I love being done. But you're done at market close. So for me, I get up at 5 and then I'm done for the day at 3 p.m. and I go home. But still, I love trading 1 to 2 hours maximum per day and then doing whatever I want. Yeah, an hour drive really sucked. I may grab maybe an apartment this summer or something, but I don't know. I got a lot of podcast time in, so it was a paid internship. So I mean, I didn't necessarily like lose money, but a lot of time in my days over the summer that I could have spent doing other things. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe if Penny Boys um, at least evens out on what I would be paying at what they pay at the internship, I may not do it. So we'll see. Because unfortunately, guys, if I do that internship, I cannot live trade for about 2 months legally. I'll still give signals though on text chat, but legally I cannot be on mic telling you guys what they're doing or even what I'm doing when I'm under their roof, and they can watch everything I'm doing on my computer. So yeah, so I don't know. That's going to be a decent decision for me. But I still got a couple months until I decide on that. About 5 months. So still got a lot of trading to do with y'all. And again, I've live traded on Discord for a long time. So I love it, and I would really enjoy um, Snowflake. That is true. I think I did do it a little bit. What'd you send, Chad? Let me send it in here. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I got to talk to the guys here because I can't lose money um, doing this. Technically, I kind of have, shutting down my own business to come here, but I believe in the future of this chat because I believe me, I have seen nothing like this around. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here for all of us. Thank you, Chad. That means a lot. I love being here, and I hope you guys like that I'm here. I wonder what you guys thought when I joined. You're my favorite analyst, so that is sweet. Thank you. Yeah, me too, Snowflake. I love it. Extrius, yeah. I mean, I'm glad you like me, but definitely check out the other analysts. I don't get to spend a lot of time in their live streams just because I'm busy during the days. But I don't really know their style necessarily when they're streaming. But I wonder if it's close to mine or if I talk too much. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and end the YouTube stream. Thank you guys for listening and commenting. Y'all have a good night.